Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelly. Welcome back to another fashion edition. Today we are going to talk about all the outfits the Meg has been wearing in her New York City trip, during her New York City trip. We have GMPS, we have an inappropriate choice, and more ridiculous outfits. Also, how long has she been away from her children? She was in Paris. It would be ridiculous and insane for her to fly all the way back to LA and then zip back over to New York for like a couple of nights. That would be dumb. So I have a feeling she's been away from the kids for well over a week at this point. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments how many days you think she has been away. I wouldn't be able to handle that. I just can't. I can hardly take a night. I'm too attached. Anyway, let's look at these outfits, you guys. Let's begin with the gala, where they received an award that they didn't deserve. And I have separate videos about that. I will link for you a playlist that should have everything on it. There has been a couple of scoops that the mainstream media doesn't really care enough to report on that do matter for Harry and Meghan. So take a look if you want, if you wish. All right, so let's see here. What do we have? Okay, so the Meg wore this black suit and Harold is also in a black suit. At least it's not gray, am I right? I think he's banned now. He has banned himself from wearing gray suits after his nonsense kerfuffle that he accused the palace of. But anyway, the Meg is wearing this blazer here. First impression, inappropriate. This is a Project Healthy Minds. This is something where you would expect families to feel like this is something to pay attention to, and it's a charitable thing, so they are showing up in a more professional capacity, representing Archewell, allegedly, and therefore they should be dressed at least somewhat professionally. Now, I'm not saying they need to look like, corporate dress, but this blazer with no camisole or shirt underneath with this, I can't really say cleavage because she's rather small chested. There's no cleavage here, but the chest showing, it goes below the bust line. It's like all the way down here. That's inappropriate for this setting. It just is. This would have looked fine at something like a movie premiere, a Hollywood sort of an event, or just a dinner out with friends or family. It would have been fine. But for this, it does not look appropriate. The suit itself, the cut of the suit, looks to be relatively balancing for her. Those are my first impressions here. Her hair looks a little bit messy, but I do like the softness that it has rather than being slickly yanked back aggressively. I feel like that can sometimes not serve her face shape very well because she does have the widest point of her face is her jaw right here, the corners of her jaw, not the chin, but like here. And so when you have that sort of a face shape, having a really aggressively tied back bun or ponytail where the top of your hair, the hair's all slicked back really aggressively, like the trendy buns and stuff, it just makes this area look all the more wide and sort of dominating on your face because it makes your forehead and your head up top look even smaller because the hair has no volume to it. So I like the attempt here, but I still feel like it's looking a little bit messy. It's not quite right. But let's look a little closer at this outfit, shall we? I won't talk about it today because I don't have time to add it in today. It would make it really long. Some awkward moments between the two on the red carpet and whatnot. I'll cover it in a video if you guys ask and you want me to. I will cover it next time I film. So looking at her makeup here, you can see this is just a tip for anybody because your scalp is going to be a slightly different shade than the rest of your face because it's got your hair shading it. It's not getting as much sun exposure. So as you can see right here along this section of her hairline, she needed to blend her bronzer in or her contour or something in to the hairline to make it not look as obvious. Even Rihanna has talked about this publicly before. And as you can see here, looking along this section of her chin, comparing it to her neck, two completely different shades. A better match for her foundation or simply less bronzer and whatnot would have been the solution. She's also really looking super shiny. This is where I've been saying, I said it about her Paris Fashion Week makeup. We shouldn't even call it that because that makes it sound too snazzy for what actually went down, her inviting herself. When she was in Paris, her makeup looked too shiny, too glowy, too wet. It went past glowy into kind of greasy looking. Same thing's happening here. It's looking greasy, not glowy. Just a little bit of mattifying powder. This is something really important to do if you're going to be on camera, not as important for real life. For real life, you don't need to powder. But if you're going to be taking pictures or, you're a public figure going to be getting photographed, you do need to mattify a little bit so that you can look glowy without looking shiny, greasy, sweaty. I quite like the chunky gold chain. I think that's a good choice. The taste of wearing such expensive jewelry at a thing like that, I will leave for you guys to discuss in the comment section, but I think a chunky gold necklace is a nice choice here. The suit jacket is a Giorgio Armani mulberry silk single-breasted jacket. It's a nice fit for her. She needs to stay away from cropped stuff, for example, or incredibly long stuff, for example. As you can see here, these both throw her off balance, make her look out of proportion, and are not as flattering. But this length of a suit jacket is very, very nice for her. She can get away with cropped if it has some angularity and if it is paired up with the right type of trousers. Like in this outfit, I've always said this is one of her best outfits. It fits her perfectly, it balances her proportions, and it doesn't throw them all out of whack. But this one here is pretty good. I can't get a good look at the trousers, but the jacket itself is nice. All she needed to do was wear a camisole. It could have even been something lacy if she really wants to be sexy for some reason while accepting a Humanitarian of the Year award. I don't know why you would want to look sexy for that, but she could do a lace camisole or something, just something. It needed something because this just looks kind of silly, a little bit desperate, and it doesn't make sense for this event. Let's move on to another outfit. Wearing this rather bulky column dress, this looks a little intense. I feel like this doesn't fit her very well. And she's doing that, here's that aggressive slicked back hairstyle. And you can see here how it makes her face, it's just less flattering to her face to have that aggressive of a slicked back hairstyle. It's also not always the best option if you have a particularly long face or a particularly wide, round face. The fit of this dress is just okay. I feel like the length is fine. The shoes are too big, they look silly. She really needs to stay away from pointed toe shoes because she has such long feet. They always look a little silly and out of place and overly huge. The pattern of this is a little bit heavy. It's a little bit busy and overwhelming. As you can see, it looks rather bulky. It's making her belly look bigger. It's widening her waistline. And of course widening her shoulder line. But this is a rewear. She wore it during her photo shoot for The Cut. So this would have been more effective if it had a little bit more softness to the fabric. It's just a little heavy. And you can also see here a clear outline and problem with the strapless bra situation. When it looks like there's quad boob happening, that means you have an ill-fitted bra. Her bra is obviously really, really tight, and then the dress is hiked up on top of it, so you can see this strange indent below where the neckline of the dress is, creating what looks like quad boobs. So this is just another problem with ill-fitting garments here. It's as if both the dress is too tight across the chest area and the bra is far too tight, and it's falling down and slipping down. Just a case for getting a better bra or skipping the strapless bra altogether and wearing something that actually has sleeves. Shocker. Additionally, we have posture problems here. She's thrusting her chest out and forward and in front of her, and she's walking, leading with her chest. And this can happen if you're trying to make your chest look bigger, I suppose. If you're trying to push your chest forward to try to make your bust look bigger than it is. That seems a little desperate for an adult to do. But it can also happen when you're wearing ill-fitting shoes, as she is here. These look to be the same ill-fitted shoes that she wore in Paris, that are 2 sizes too big. And to clarify, wearing a half size up, if that makes it more comfortable to wear heels to allot for swelling, is fine. But people's feet do not swell more than a half size. If they are, then you have a serious edema problem. Swelling from being on your feet all day and needing to wear a half size bigger for heels can make sense for some people, and that's a total personal choice. But this is 2 sizes too big, and it's making it impossible and even dangerous, dare I say, for her to walk around. And it's contributing to this strange posture and strange gait because it is so difficult to keep on heels that are that big for your feet. 2 sizes too big. It's so hard to keep them on your feet. Of course your posture is going to get out of whack and crazy, but it makes her look ridiculous and amateur, and it's embarrassing to watch. Always looks like the clothes are wearing her. She always looks just a little off in her outfits and proportion, and the way that she wears them, just awkward. And that's okay. Not everybody is so photogenic and graceful and elegant. Not everybody is. Like, duh. And I'm super short. So there's a lot of things that I cannot wear that just are going to make me look bulky or shorter or are going to swallow me up and overwhelm me. I have to wear rather streamlined things and clean lines, and monochrome is very helpful. I can definitely sympathize with her not having outfits, really work a lot of the time. But she could hire a stylist, she could hire a tailor and have a lot better outcomes than she does. Okay, let's take a look at this World Mental Health Day situation here. She's re-wearing this embarrassing blue and white striped shirt. She has worn this 3 times publicly that we have proof of. She wore it on this day, one of the most embarrassing pictures, to Wimbledon with Catherine. Silly choices here. The pants, the GMPs are so huge, so long. They are puddling up on the floor. They look ridiculous. It's a wonder she didn't fall. And then she wore it on Netflix. Also looked really awkward and ill-fitting there, just as it does here. Look at how she's pulling her shoulders back and trying to lift her bust line up. That is not good posture. That is actually going to pull your spine and push out your stomach, which is the opposite way to have good posture, but it's also the opposite of what Meghan needs, because that is going to broaden her shoulder line, widen her waistline, and is going to make her torso look shorter because she's like curving it and pushing it. And it hurts my back to do that. Proper posture, you tuck the hips to be under your shoulders. And your shoulders should be out, yes, but also down. Not your boobs up and out, but just shoulders back and down a little bit. Just that. That is good posture. This is like thrusting her chest forward, and you can tell it is because of the way the shirt is puckering here. She's popped her collar. That looks messy and try hard. The shirt itself is patterned and ill-fitting. It's too voluminous, it has too much room. So it's bulky, as you can see, around her waistline and throughout the arms, and she's shoved them up messily. This whole thing looks a terrible mess. And then we have the GMPs. These humongous trousers, as you can see, they're puddling up on the floor. They're too long. They're wrinkly as all get out. And I'm not a fan of this particular tone of brown paired up with navy and blue like this. This doesn't look very good together, in my opinion. And she wore this camel coat. These all together just look messy and unprofessional and amateur, as per usual. Her outfits almost always look amateur and unprofessional, and this is no different. Katie Couric looks like she's being eaten alive by her olive suit here. The sleeves are way too big. Sleeves are always a giveaway if something is tailored to you or not. For Meghan, I would never recommend a patterned shirt, especially for a speaking engagement like this. It's too busy, too overwhelming, and too messy. Plus, her widest point is her shoulder line, so she would have benefited greatly from just a simple navy blue top, like a wool or a sweater, a knit of some sort that's not too voluminous, tucked in, would have been fine. And the GMPs need to be mid-rise, not high-rise like this. They are huge. As we've discussed, the problem with high-rise for Meghan is that she has a short torso and not a well-defined waist. So if you have a well-defined waist, even if you have a shorter torso, if you by some miracle have a well-defined waist that's more than like an inch long, meaning the skinniest part of your waist, the thinnest part of your waist, has some breathing room, then you can probably get away with high-rise trousers because it will make your waistline look enhanced. But Meghan doesn't have that. She's got a square and boxy torso, and then she has a short torso. So this looks like pants meet boobs, and it's just widening her torso, making it look incredibly boxy. Also, the pleats in the front are heavy and are going to add even more visual weight to her torso and make her look even more messy here. It's kind of embarrassing to see her talking here at this thing with these wrinkly trousers and this mess of an outfit and the sleeves all bunched up. It's a shame that she can't quite figure it out and can't quite get it right, I have to be honest. It's too bad. These trousers also, these GMPs, the giant man pants, are far too voluminous in the leg. She has very thin, lanky limbs, so something with this much room in them just tends to look a little silly rather than being able to pull it off. And of course, part of that is her vibe. She was also seen wearing yet another outfit for this Fortune interview. It is one of her better outfits. These softer fabrics are exactly what she should be wearing. These are so much better for her than the heavily structured outfits and heavy fabrics that she tries to wear that just lean into that more angular body type that she has and tend to widen her and look really heavy on her. These softer, silkier fabrics are exactly what I have always been saying she needs to wear. I think this fits her really well. And it looks really nice on her. She looks polished, she looks clean, she looks more professional here. It's buttoned up properly. The pencil skirt and blouse combo is also great for balancing her proportions. It hides the long, lanky limbs. It camouflages the lack of a well-defined waist, and it hides the short torso. It makes her look so much more balanced in her proportions. And the fact that she bloused out the blouse a little bit, you pull it up and have a tiny bit of a billow, gives the illusion that she has a smaller waistline under there, that she has a more well-defined waist than she actually does. So this is the exact type of outfit I have been recommending to Meghan for years. And the softness of the shirt especially is really, really nice because she has a boxy torso, her shoulder line is her widest point, and she has those long, lanky limbs. She tends to look really angular. And so wearing things that are overly structured and shoving up her sleeves all messily and getting all wrinkly like she does tends to make her look bulkier and lean into that angularity even more, making her look more rectangular, making her shoulders look more heavy, visually heavy. This allows that softness and that movement to balance the angularity in her figure. If you're a more voluptuous figure or softer sort of a body type, then structure can really help to bring balance. And it's the opposite for Meghan. She has that angular, skinny, straight sort of a body type where soft fabrics are very complementary. I'm not saying people have to only stick to, balancing that vibe. It's just that it helps enhance and it helps bring balance and it makes it overall look like it suits the person a lot better. One thing I will say, it clearly, the top does not fit her perfectly. It's the right size for her arms and for her waist here, but it's still struggling to fit her shoulder line. And this is probably something she runs into a lot and why we see her in poorly fitted tops all the time, because her shoulders are more broad than the rest of her body's size would indicate. You know what I mean? If she bought a shirt that fit her waist down here, it might be a little tight in the shoulders. If she buys to fit her shoulders, it might have a little too much room around here or in the arms. And a tailor is the only solution in that case, or like continuing to search for the shirts that just so happen to be the perfect proportions for you, because there is no standard sizing where every size small has the same measurements. No, there is no such thing. So searching for garments that fit you better, or buying a garment that fits your widest point and then having it tailored to fit you everywhere else. Those are the only two ways to go. So we can see a little bit of pulling across the shoulders, and it's very distracting during the interview. It looks like it's pulling and it's not fitting great. And same around like her chest area, because that too is a little bit wider. She might be wearing a padded bra here. So the buttons look a little bit less polished than they should have. A little bit of double-sided fabric tape would have fixed that. If she had a stylist, they would have caught that for her and helped her with that. But overall, this is better than having it be too big and bulky. It's unfortunate that it's too tight across the shoulder line and it's creating a little bit of pulling and it's a little bit distracting that it clearly doesn't fit quite right. But overall, I would say this is one of the most successful outfits I've seen Meghan in a long time. Plus, it was appropriate with the exception of the skirt having a little bit too high of a slit in the front there. That's maybe a little bit less professional if you're going to be sitting, having an interview or a talk or something like that. You don't want to wear something where it might be showing a little too much leg. It just kind of takes away from her presence there. So even though this outfit was better, the interview was not, by any stretch of the imagination. If you missed my recap on this interview, I will link it for you at the top of the page and the end of today's video. I think Even though it was inappropriate, the black suit was the best outfit of her time in New York City. It's the most well-fitting, and it's the most balancing to her proportions. The trousers don't look embarrassingly huge. And overall, it's sleek, it's balancing, it's monochrome, so it's going to be elongating, and the fit of the jacket with the single button there is going to help give her a faux waistline. It's going to make it look like she has a little bit more of a waistline than she does. It blends over the short torso. The sleeves of the suit jacket look like they're hitting her in the right place. So overall, this is the best outfit that she had. It just wasn't the right occasion. As per usual, the Meg can't ever get it 100% right. The worst has got to be the blue pinstriped mess with the GMPs. She can't go to New York City without GMPs. She just can't. Every time she's there, she pulls those babies out. What was your least favorite? What was your most favorite? Or rather, I should say, do you agree the black suit is the best? And which do you think was worse? The heavy dress from several seasons ago or the navy getup with the brown? It just doesn't work. What do you think was worse? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for joining me for today's fashion edition. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day, everybody. Bye.